This is a second problem, and this problem, our reaction is carbon disulfide plus sodium hydroxide yields this sodium carbon trisulfide compound, sodium carbonate, and water. So in the written problem, they tell you that they're going to react 150 grams of the carbon disulfide with 200 grams of sodium hydroxide. Put decimal points in there so we get 3 sig figs, and they get 41.3 grams of sodium hydroxide, and they want to know the percent yield for the problem. So we'll start off as normal and run the calculation with the carbon disulfide and then run it with sodium hydroxide. So we take 150 grams of carbon disulfide, and I've already calculated the molar masses. I have 56.08. Again, you have to show that when you do this on the exam. Okay, so it's 56.08 grams of carbon disulfide per 1 mole of carbon disulfide. Please show how you get that result when you do problems. And then I look, and there's three carbon disulfide per 3 waters. So it's 3 moles of CS2 per 3 moles of water. And I'm running out of room, so I go to the next line, times the molar mass of water is 18.02. Again, I had to use the periodic table to calculate that. 18.02 grams of water per mole of water, and I get 48.2 grams of water. And if I want to check my units, I can. The moles of water cancel, the moles of CS2 cancel, the grams of CS2 cancel, and I'm left with grams of water. So I know I have a good feeling about the problem that I did that portion of it right. Now I start with the 200 grams of NaOH, and I run the same calculation. The only difference is the molar masses and the stoichiometric coefficients are different. So I get 40 grams of sodium hydroxide per mole of sodium hydroxide. And there's a 6:3 ratio. 6 moles of sodium hydroxide per 3 moles of water, and the molar mass again is 18.02 grams of water per mole of water. I'm looking in pretty good shape. My moles cancel here, moles cancel there, grams of sodium hydroxide cancel, so I have the right units, and I get 45.0 grams of water. So the question is, which is the limiting reagent? Is it the sodium hydroxide here or the calcium disulfide? And clearly it's the sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is limiting right here, or here you need to label it. I'm going to label it at the top, limiting reagent. And the theoretical yield is 45.0 grams, theoretical yield. I will tell you to do this on the problems. So you can just read the problem, and it will say, label the theoretical yield and the limiting reagent. So now I don't have room, so I'm going to have to erase. So I'm going to have to remember these numbers. I'll rewrite them and erase. So here we are with our theoretical yield of 45.0 grams, and our limiting reagent is sodium hydroxide. So it's a theoretical yield. The 41.3 grams up here is the actual yield that we got out of this problem. So the percent yield is going to be the actual over the theoretical times 100%, and that is 41.0 0.3 grams divided by 45.0 grams times 100. And that gives us 91.8%. And we'll circle our answer here. Make sure that the grader knows what your answer is. Okay, that's it. Practice the problems.